Hey folks, my name is Dave and you are at NTD Racing. You're at our new shop here in Monument, Colorado. And I'm not sure how you found us. Maybe you're searching for how to put down epoxy, but you're going to like the content of this channel. And I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing by the time you get to the end of this video. What we're going to talk about today is how do you make this shop, which we've been doing some work already on. We put some paint on. We changed the lights, put a heater in here to kind of brighten things up. But what really is going to make this place pop is an epoxy coating on the floor. And I put this on the last shop that I had when we lived in California, and I loved the epoxy. There were some lessons that I learned, so we're going to fix that when we put this epoxy floor on. This will be my third or my fourth time putting one of these 100% solids epoxy coatings on a floor. So there are some lessons that I learned along the way, and I'll pass those on to you. Let's first talk about the stuff that we bought. First is we got 3 of these. It's 3 gallons worth of epoxy in here. There's a part A and a part B, you mix epoxies, and they're 100% solids. What that means is that there's no solvents, nothing is going to evaporate off from this. It is going to continue, it'll always be the same volume as you put it out. It's not going to have those crazy smells that you get from some of those really cheap kits that you get. The other thing that I will purchase from EpoxyMaster when I buy stuff from them is I will get the rollers from them also. I'm going to admit it, I made it kind of a mistake. I bought these 18-inch rollers. I really wasn't paying much attention. I got 3 of these, and then I had to get like a roller extension that I got from Home Depot, and I'll show you how that works. Now, the reason I buy their rollers is because something I did in the past is that I find that their rollers don't come apart and the fuzz doesn't come off them, because when that stuff comes off of a roller, it gets into the epoxy and it becomes like rocks on the floor. I also got 3 of those, and then from Home Depot I purchased 3 just really cheap paint brushes, and I'll show you how I use those later. The reason I bought 3 is because I had 3 epoxy kits, 3 rollers, 3 paint brushes, because every time I go to a new epoxy batch, I'm going to switch to a whole new paintbrush, because that stuff starts to cure pretty quickly, and I just don't want to deal with clumping and that kind of stuff on the tools while I'm using them, so I'll be disposing of those pretty rapidly. A whole bunch of Scotch tape. We had to get something also from Home Depot to mix the contents that are inside of here. Again, there's some stuff, again, like you're seeing, I purchased from EpoxyMaster. I think it's a good deal. And then I find like their clear coat and their mixers, a little expensive, and I'm just not a fan of the clear coat going on. And I'll show you how well I think this stuff goes on, and you can decide what you want to buy when you put your own flooring down. Some other things that I had to get. Muric acid, what that's going to do is going to etch the concrete and get it prepared to take the epoxy. And I've had really good luck with that, especially on a mostly clean floor, and I'll show you how I apply that stuff. Other people will go ahead and sand the floor down. I don't do that, but that's definitely an option there also. I have some wire wheels I'm going to use basically to clean off some of the rough spots on the concrete. And then these spike shoes, you put these on so that you can walk around the epoxy before it's cured, and it doesn't leave any marks or while you're walking around on there. But there are some tricks to using these, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to it, so that you're not caught off guard for when you're putting your own epoxy floor down. So from here, let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to give you a walk around the shop, show you kind of what it looks like before we get started, and then we'll tape this whole place up. We'll get it cleaned with some of the muric acid, and then we'll start putting down some epoxy, and you'll get to see the results of what this stuff looks like at the end. Let's go ahead and get to it. The shop is starting to look good. It is definitely a lot brighter than it was before, and once that epoxy goes down, you're going to see it's totally going to pop. So here's some of the things we're doing. Big picture, the process that I'm going to do is first I'm just going to go through around and sweep everything up as best I can. And then we're going to go ahead and start cleaning everything off with the muric acid. You can see some of the areas here where somebody tried to fill in this gap, and I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Now realize that you can fill in these gaps and epoxy over those. I just don't do it, so I just let epoxy kind of run in there, and I'm just careful as to how much epoxy I let run into the floors. But you can see I got to do a little bit of grinding, get some stuff off the floors. And the muric acid will clean up a lot of stuff, and then we'll just see what we got after that. After that, we'll tape off the walls and then get everything ready to go and lay down some of this epoxy. Right now, what we're gonna do is take all this stuff out of here. Probably one of the toughest tasks, I think most people will admit it, is getting everything out of your garage and off the floor is not an easy task, but it is totally worth it. And let's go ahead and get to that. Garages always look huge when they're empty. So I got everything off the floor, took a moment to kind of put some artwork up on the wall. Here's what we got going on. So we're getting the floor mostly cleaned up and getting all the stuff out of the cracks. And now what I'm doing is I'm kind of gonna go over everything with some wire brushes that isn't flat. So like basically, if you kind of look here, the guy before me, he'd put some kind of a product down here to try to fill this gap. And this will show up, I think, underneath the epoxy coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with the angle grinder. I'm gonna hit all the cracks, in fact, with a little bit of the angle grinder with the wire wheel to kind of clean that stuff up. I'm gonna go over it again and sweep it one more time, and then we'll hit it with the muric acid. Now that we have the floor mostly clean, I'm going to do the acid bath, or just kind of etch the concrete. I'm using this muric acid that I got from Home Depot, and it says for etching, I want to add 24 ounces per gallon. This is a 5-gallon bucket, so I'll go 2.5 gallons, and 1 gallon of the muric acid is about 120 ounces. So if I go about half of the container of the muric acid for a half a bucket, that should be pretty darn close for what we're doing today. Safety first, get some goggles on and some acid resistant gloves, and we'll go ahead and get to it. So just like I'm planning to put down the epoxy floor, this muric acid, you kind of have to hit it with a plan. So the floor naturally has a grid, those squares, and I'm breaking those down in half. So I've mapped out how much product I need to use. I got 2 of these 1-gallon cans of the muric acid. So it's going to take, each one will take about half of the garage. And then I'm basically working on 1/2 of those squares at a time. I'm just using a normal push broom, nothing special, just trying to work it in, making sure that the acid reacts with all parts of the concrete, especially those parts where the epoxy will have to be heavy duty and have really good adherence to the concrete floor. All right, everything is etched and ready to go. I keep sweeping. It doesn't matter how many times you sweep this stuff. You'll find more dirt or specks, and I don't think it really matters that much. Overall, it's going to look really good when it's all done. But as you get ready done, you get everything masked off. I tape as good a line as I can here at the exit of the garage where the epoxy is going to end. And I also put a little bit of rolled up tape down here, hoping to make a dam so the epoxy doesn't rush through here, and then kind of make a little epoxy trail down the other side. So I just roll up some tape and I put it under there, hopefully to stop most of the epoxy from running through there. Once you get started with the epoxy, here's some things to think about. You have a 2-man team. You got one person who's on the rollers, and they're going to put on the spike shoes. Now, there's a bunch of different kinds of spike shoes that guys wear. Here's the thing, you put them on, they're on the whole time you're doing it, and you got to make sure they stay on, that the straps are going to come loose. These are Velcro. I've had pairs before that I had to tape up the straps to make sure they wouldn't come off. Just make sure that whatever it is, you're not fiddling with those while you're doing the epoxy. The second person is just with a paintbrush, and what they're doing is cutting in the paint. So the first thing I'm going to do is you mix the epoxy, you pour it along the corners and all the way around the edges, and then that person's going to come in and just basically with a brush cut it in as close as they can get it, and then I'm going to hit it with a roller and pull it over the rest of the area. You really got to think about how you're going to put out all of this epoxy also. I've got 3 buckets, and my garage just happens to be separated into 3 mostly equal sections, 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to start all the way across there in the back. We're going to cut it in and epoxy all the way there, and then we're going to go to the next section with the next bucket, and then this section with this bucket. So with that being said, you have to be totally ready with all of your parts. I got the rollers. I'm going to swap rollers over there and leave dirty rollers on that piece, that moving mat. I got the 3 buckets right here. I got the mixer, and I'm going to have everything ready to go to mix it and then pour it. And then once that's done, come back over here and mix the next one and then pour that and kind of keep going. So what's inside of these buckets? These things are hard to open, so I kind of pre-open these and I leave them on here. You have this part B that's sitting on top here, and then you got this little plastic piece which is separating at the bottom of the bucket, which is the part A. This gets messy, so you always want to have gloves on, and then a trash can. You can take the stuff and put it right into the trash can so you're not stepping on it and getting stuff all over your shoes and all that. So you take that out, we'll be pouring in the part B, we'll mix it for 2 minutes, and then after that, game on. There's a reaction going on, and the fact that it's in this bucket, it's getting really hot inside there, and within about 60 seconds, you have to have all the stuff out of that bucket and pour it onto the floor. So you have to have a good game plan for where that's going to go. Big picture, what we're going to do is we're going to pour it around as close as I can get it to the edges, making it easy for my buddy and my little boy to cut in the epoxy on the other sides, and then I'll also kind of bring it down the side so I have something I can roll back and forth with the roller. I'm going to try not to pour it into the cracks because that's going to eat up a whole bunch of epoxy every time it gets inside there. So we'll be careful not to get it inside of those cracks. I think we're ready to go. I got my helper out here. He needs some shoes, but whatever. So it's time now to open up the epoxy and start pouring. All right, like I said, this is my third time putting one of these epoxy floors down, and there's some lessons learned on this one. The instructions say to put the epoxy down when it's between 55 and 85 degrees out. And I was like, my floor is pretty warm. It's been out in the sun, but it's really the product, because as we take the top off this thing, it's like molasses. That stuff is so cold and thick because it's been sitting outside. So the product's actually probably like 40 degrees or something like that. So it is too cold, and we're going to have to come back and do it again the next day after I spend the whole night warming up the epoxy and my floor with my garage heater. All right, so the next day, the product is warmer, and it is ready to go, and the floor has been warm. I think we heated the garage up to about 78 degrees, and it stayed that way all night, so the concrete, I think, soaked up some of that heat. So I think that we're ready to go. And as we get ready to start pouring this product out, there's a couple things to think about. Again, this is not a solvent type thing where you put it out and the solvents evaporate away and then it's stuck on your floor like, the cheaper Home Depot kits. This is a 100% solids kit. So you pour in, it's epoxy. You pour in a part A and a part B, you mix those two together, and it is reacting. It doesn't need air to react. It's almost like concrete. It could be underwater and it's still going to solidify because there's a chemical reaction that's going on. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, wow, you guys got the garage doors closed. And I was kind of concerned about this, how much, and I bet you it even says it on the product to make sure you leave, you have ventilation and all those kinds of things. But there was absolutely no smell at all that we could tell, or any kind of odor coming off of the product. And we laid it down the whole time with the garage doors closed. I highly recommend that you lay it down with ventilation, but this is what we did. And it ended up working out pretty well, and it kept the garage warm and allowed us to manipulate the product the whole time. So again, they're very specific about how you mix the product. You need to mix it for 2 minutes. So we were setting a timer on our watches to make sure we got that exactly right. And then once it's mixed, you have 60 seconds to get it out of the bucket and then pour it all the way around the perimeter where you're going to mix it. So we mix it. We get it over to the perimeter. I start pouring it out. This is another tricky part. You need to think about how you're going to do this. It's kind of difficult to see where the bucket is pouring out while you're pouring it. So you got to be really careful. You don't pour it too thick in places or too thin in other places. And just you take some time, but you got 60 seconds. So it's worth really thinking about what you're going to do with this. And then also, just making sure you don't pour a whole bunch of product in the first part or where you're going to put the epoxy, and then not have enough product on the end. So, pour some and then make sure you have enough to keep kind of going around, and pay attention to how much is left in the bucket. Once it's on the ground, now it's time to start spreading it. Okay, so the other important member of this whole team is the guy that's helping me cut everything in. Remember, I'm wearing spike shoes. I can walk on the epoxy before it cures. In our case, he's not wearing those. So I got to make sure that he cuts in all the areas that I can't get with a roller before I get there, because he can't go back over the curing epoxy. I can do that, but again, we got to put all this stuff down. We usually have about an hour to make sure the epoxy is done, because it does start to thicken up. And then with me as the roller, I just got to be methodical about how I roll this stuff on. Get it pretty close. Realize that once you roll it on, it's going to self-level. So even if it doesn't look great when you roll it, it's going to mostly level itself, and it's going to be a really great looking product when it's all done. Okay, let's check out the results. I think it is awesome. It does exactly what I need it to do. It is resistant to fuel, just about all chemicals when you get it on there. Keeps the floor clean. That keeps a safe kind of garage. And it also reflects just a ton of light and just brightens this whole room up so much more than it did with just the old concrete floors. I am really super happy. Now, there are some things that you could do to make this even better, because you can kind of see the quality from the reflection, just how much light and everything kind of comes off of this and how smooth it is. But if you get down really close, you can still see there are maybe a couple of bubbles and maybe a little bit of trash in the final product down here. So to fix that, maybe just do a little bit more time cleaning up. And they also provide a squeegee that you can buy to help move the product around before you start going to a roller. And then I'll maybe keep some more of the bubbles out of the finish. Second, you got these gaps over here. You can kind of see I got some cracks down there. They don't bother me because, again, I'm looking for something that's brighter and just resists all the kind of the chemicals that get on the floor. And this doesn't bother me, but you can fill this in with some product. And also there's some cracks over here in the concrete. You can see that this product does not fill those cracks, and you could, again, fix that by just spending a little more time filling this in with some kind of a compound before you go to putting the epoxy down. Okay, I couldn't be more happy with the finished product over here. Huge thanks to my boy Matthew and my buddy Loco for helping me get to this point right here. And in the next episode, we're gonna start moving everything back in here. We're gonna have Honcho here, Lefty there. We're gonna have the plasma table and all the fabrication tools back in the shop. And there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming out over the next year as we're trying to get Honcho ready for the Min 400 and Honcho and Lefty ready for the Baja 1000. It's gonna be some great content. I hope you will consider subscribing to our channel, maybe leaving a like to this video. Comments always help us out, and we sure do appreciate that. If you are interested to see how this floor performs, I will be talking about it in videos as we go on, how the epoxy only without the clear coat does. So how much did it cost to make all this stuff happen? About $1,000 to get the epoxy coat on about 1,000 square feet of garage space. Like I said, the way I did it, I only bought the epoxy product from EpoxyMaster. If you're interested in any other products that we use to get this done, check out the links below. It'll direct you to our Amazon page, and I linked all those things in there in case you want to do the same thing in your own shop. With that, there's a lot more to get done, and I will see you next week. Take care of yourself.